My name is Gretchen Fitzgerald, and I'm National Programs Director with Sierra Club Canada Foundation. And I live here in Chibuktuk, Big Harbor, and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
And I'm Tynette Deveaux, also with Sierra Club Canada, and I work primarily on Sierra Club's Beyond Coal Atlantic campaign, and my pronouns are she and her.
Thank you both, and whenever you're ready, you can start your presentation. You have 10 minutes, and there'll be a follow-up of 5 minutes for questions from committee members.
All right, thank you very much. I'd like to begin with a short introduction. 2 years ago, many of us were right here in this room making a presentation to the Law Amendments Committee with regards to the Sustainable Development Goals Act. We explained why we needed strong legislative targets and an action plan to respond quickly and effectively to the climate emergency. Very little actually came of it, except more talk and more promises. And unfortunately, we've lost 2 valuable years in the fight against climate change. So we need to make up for some lost time. We appreciate that this government understands the needs for legislative targets, and we believe it's necessary to drill down further to see how those targets can be both strengthened and accelerated. But first, we're going to have to agree on the meaning of the word emergency. So Merriam-Webster dictionary defines emergency as an unexpected and unusual, or an unexpected and usually dangerous situation that calls for immediate action. If you look it up in other dictionaries, you'll find similar definitions. So while it's not entirely unexpected, the need for immediate action is clear. So with each of the goals and targets stated in Bill 57, it's important to ask ourselves, is it in keeping with the call for immediate action? And does it reflect or contradict the meaning of emergency? An emergency response involves going into uncharted territory. If anybody had told us 3 years ago that we'd be wearing masks, mandating vaccines and lockdowns, we would have thought you were crazy. But we did it because it had to be done. We're asking you to have the courage to lead once again. And Gretchen will present several specific asks that we're making of this legislation today.
Thank you, Tynette. And thank you to the committee. Our first ask has to do with the phase-out of coal timeline, which we appreciate, upping that timeline from 2040 to 2030 is consistent with what the global community is doing, what Canada is doing, and what's actually the quickest and, for Nova Scotia, most efficient way to reach our greenhouse gas emission targets. So thank you. Thank you. But in line with Tynette's comments with regard to an emergency, we do need some targets in this piece of legislation that are shorter term than 2030, which we all know in political terms is quite a while away. We also know that Hydro-Quebec has on offer existing hydro that we could purchase immediately and shut down a quarter of our coal and pet coke burning. We could do that this year, we could do it next year. And I guess, I don't think people really realize how the rest of the world has moved, including provinces within Canada. Alberta is set to shut down all of its coal by 2023. We really do need to catch up. And so we do urge you to have an immediate target to shut down coal, which, as we say, is affordable and doable. So a 2022 target of 1/4 of coal-fired electricity shut down, 2025 target of 50% off coal, and a 2028 target. We know from the implementation of the EGSPA, the bill that preceded this one, when we set targets, they can be achieved. Let's get on it. Our second ask is that the bill put into law a commitment on behalf of Nova Scotia government that we will not permit new fossil fuel exploration and development. This is consistent with the International Energy Agency's report this year showing that it is possible to supply the world's needs with renewable energies, and also consistent with the Code Red for Humanity in the latest IPCC report and the more recent United Nations Environmental Program report on the production gap. All of these global reports say we can do this and we must do this. Unfortunately, the world is on track to double fossil fuel production above what the 1.5 limit degrees Celsius warming would permit. And actually what we do here in Nova Scotia really matters on the global stage. We know our offshore oil and gas reserves here in the offshore could be 4% of that global carbon budget, which I just told you the world is on track to exceed by twice over. It's simply unacceptable. We also know that locally, there is a great pushback against new fossil fuel development. We all celebrated when Alton Gas was told to go away through activism and the courage of the grassroots grandmothers and others in the community. We know that people mobilized against fracking, and we know that any new move to permit offshore oil and gas will meet with similar opposition. Let's join other countries that are leading this, and even the province of Quebec has most recently said, we're going to stop this, and we're going to be part of the solution rather than the problem. Thirdly, let's get to 100% renewable energy faster. We know the bill says 80% renewables by 2030, I believe is the target. We think we can do it quicker, and we can actually say 100% renewable energy. So we know we are only using a fraction of what is possible in terms of solar energy and wind energy in this province. We also know that communities encounter numerous barriers when they actually want to participate in the new energy future. We have to break down those barriers, but we also have to set strong targets to show that we're going to pave the way for these real opportunities for communities to engage in the renewable energy sector. So again, let's introduce into the bill a commitment to get to 75% renewable energy by 2025. Let's get on it, let's get moving. We also strongly encourage the committee to define what is renewable within this act. And this is very, very important because the principles of the Act say that we're going to be furthering Nadugalimk, the principles of Nadugalimk. We're going to be furthering the idea of a cyclic economy. Right now, we are allowing biomass, forest biomass, to contribute to our supposed renewable energy targets. This needs to stop. We ask that we define renewable energy as something that is consistent with something that actually reduces greenhouse gas emissions. Biomass, forest biomass for electricity, actually produces 1.5 times the amount of greenhouse gas emissions as coal. We've got the math wrong, and we are not doing our best to fight climate change if we allow this to continue, and we all know that our forests are heavily degraded. If we truly embrace the principle of Nadugalimk and a cyclic economy, biomass cannot be considered renewable, and we must define what renewable is in this bill. Similarly, and I'll close, we also want a commitment that would be in line with this definition of renewable energy, that we do not accept mega hydro purchases as meeting renewable energy targets. We know that mega hydro, such as the proposed Gull Island project in Labrador, actually results in the degradation of natural systems which we are relying on to fight climate change, and infringes on Indigenous rights, cultures, and the health of downstream communities through methyl mercury pollution and poisoning. We cannot keep counting mega hydro toward our renewable energy targets, particularly when we have local sources of energy that actually would support communities better.
One minute.
So just to clarify, we understand that there is existing mega hydro, which we accept will be part of the grid, but we want very much for no new hydro projects to get underway to support our so-called green energy transition. We know that what we're asking for here today is difficult. We are asking you to lead, not follow, but lead as Nova Scotia did during and has throughout the COVID crisis. Governments throughout Canada and people throughout Canada have looked very favorably to Nova Scotia and its leadership. And you have an opportunity here to lead.
Thank you very much. I'll ask committee members if they have any questions of our speakers. MLA LeBlanc.
Hi, thank you for being here. How would you define renewable? What would you like to see as the definition of renewable?
It's a great question. So I think an energy source that doesn't increase greenhouse gas emissions and contribute to the global problem. And then an energy source that is truly in line with the principles of a cyclic economy. So things like wind, solar energy, coupled with storage of energy, and small-scale run-of-the-river hydro or smaller-scale tidal. I think renewable energy should contribute to our solutions rather than our problems.
I would just like to add as well. I think in order for it to qualify as a renewable, it should be renewable within our lifetime. So old-growth forests, the kind that are historically or traditional to this territory, take 150 years to grow. Currently, less than 1% of the forests in Nova Scotia are more than 100 years old. So that's 1% of our forests are more than 100 years old. So at this point, for the foreseeable future, for our lifetimes, forest biomass is not renewable.
Thank you. MLA Taggart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I wish we had time so we could discuss the forests and the old growth forests. I'm a private woodlot owner and very proud of my forest management, but that's not my question or comment right now. I know people find this hard to believe, but I'm a champion of carbon reduction. People seem to think that, anyway, and I have a history of that. But on the idea, I'm amazed, I'm a little bit baffled, I guess, about your unwillingness to accept hydropower. But I guess where I was going, my original question was, you said that Hydro-Quebec has 25% available to us right now. Do you know how it's my understanding we don't have the capacity to get here. And it's going to cost $5 billion to get it here. And so it's one thing to have it available. I wish it was. I wish we could get it here tomorrow, but we can't. So we have to come out with $5 billion. And it's my understanding that right now our grid is at capacity. Now, is there something, do you know something that I don't? Are we able to get that 25% of our power, which is a tremendous amount of power, through New Brunswick and into Nova Scotia? Is that something that I'm not aware of?
I'm familiar with the number 5 billion. I know Nova Scotia Power recently met with the Premier and caucus mentioning the figure of 2 billion to meet targets.
That's Nova Scotia's share, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
Through New Brunswick as well.
Yeah, but just to address the specific question with regard to connectivity, yes, we've met numerous times with, people in Quebec, people in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia Power. It may require a bit of an upgrade, but nothing on the level of 5 billion. And when we originally approached Quebec Hydro to see if it was available, and I will emphasize this is existing hydro, so again, we oppose mega hydro in general, this power is available, and it would just, and our perception is, it just would take people coordinating, which they are to some degree on the Atlantic Loop, as you're probably aware, to either make the upgrades necessary seasonally when they would happen, nothing on the level of $5 billion. And seasonally, actually, it is available at some times of year, is our impression. And so our concern has been, to get to Tynette's original point, we're not treating this like an emergency. We got to get the dance partners on the floor dancing and doing things differently if we want to achieve success here. And there is an immediate opportunity right there that would be affordable and definitely would not cost the ratepayers the number that you're mentioning, $5 billion.
I would like to ask too, why would we take Nova Scotia Power's word for it? Why is there no independent committee looking at the true cost and availability of Quebec Hydro? Why are we taking the word of the corporation that stands to gain financially from a $2 billion payout from the federal government? Surely that doesn't make sense.
Thank you, and that concludes our 5 minutes for questions as well. Thank you very much, both of you, for your presentations.
Thank you.